Hello everyone and welcome back to Tinderlost Gaming and welcome to episode 2 of my Scarlet Keys campaign. This one is called Riddles and Rain and that will become apparent in a little while. But this is my very first scenario for the Scarlet Keys campaign. Previous video was putting together a deck for William Yorick, our survivor, our solo investigator. So please, there's the link in the description below if you want to go and check the deck I'm using. But without further ado, let's get across to the table. And here we are at the table. It looks very busy, but we're going to get it all sorted out as we go through. So first things first, we've got our chaos bag sorted. That's playing on standard. So I'm not an expert or anything like that. So standard chaos deck. Got my coffee. Absolute prerequisite when I'm playing games. So coffee's in-house. We've got my very technologically advanced campaign log, piece of paper and a pen. Put those to one side for the time being. Hopefully not going to need them just yet. One little amendment to the deck. Went back through it last night actually, and I've taken out the improvised shield. That was an asset that you could play from your discard pile, but looking at it, it's quite difficult to get the blinking thing in there because it's got you can't actually commit it to tests or anything like that. So I went back through the deck and actually I'm a little bit nervous about clue gathering for William. I don't know whether I should be or not. So what I've done is I've taken out the improvised shield and I've put 2 flashlights in. Standard flashlights, use 3 supplies, then 1 investigate and you get a -2 shroud. Comes in the core set, so let's chuck those in there. We'll give those a shuffle in a bit. Got some cards laid out. We've got our William Yorick. We've got our tokens for our health and our sanity. So I think we are ready to go. There are some new rules within the Scarlet Keys campaign, concealed and stuff like that. And what I'll do is I'll talk to them when I get to it. Otherwise, this video is going to be like 6 hours long from reading all the info. So I'll talk through those bits as and when we get to them. So I'm going to read intro 1, and it's called Prologue, Riddles and Rain. The dark stifles. It moves like a living creature, constricts the air as if you were in a shapeless cocoon. A figment of your anxious and overactive imagination, you hope. But everything about this meeting puts your nerves on edge. Oh, hang on a second. Yeah, I'm reading the right bit. You almost didn't accept the mysterious invitation, but recent events have forced your hand. It's been several months since the disappearances began, and all of your leads in Arkham have dried up. It started in the winter of 1924 with several vehicles in Southside, 2 Studebakers, a Cadillac and a Rolls Royce, all of them top of the line. One moment they were there, the next, nothing, save for a single deflated wheel. Police believed it to be the work of bootleggers looking for more vehicles to add to their routes, but the cars were too nice, would draw too much attention. Perhaps they were taken down to Boston or New York and flipped for a pretty penny. And that's just what you figured happened, till the disappearances continued. Next to go was a street lamp outside the War Theatre in downtown. Then 2 pets, a dog and a cat, whisked away almost simultaneously right out from under their owner's nose, not 2 doors down from one another. You learned the news when you saw the missing posters plastered all over College Street. On a whim, you interviewed the owners. No sign of foul play, and it was unlikely for them to have run away. Something stank about all of it. Then people started to disappear. A child from Easttown, a student in Miskatonic University, the chief of Arkham's fire department. And as the police closed each case with no clues or suspects, curious things began to happen. One by one, as time marched on, the things that went missing vanished not only from Arkham, but from memory. The owners of those vehicles suddenly claimed never to have owned them. The pets, the people, all of them were wiped from the memories of every single person in the town. Everyone but you. You and you alone remembered. Perhaps it was the simple way of things. Humans are fickle, forgetful by nature. But it couldn't be so simple. It was just too strange, coincidental. And that's when the letter arrived. Greetings. I hope this letter finds you well. You do not know me, but I know you. I cannot tell you much through paper correspondence, as it may be intercepted. Suffice to say that I know of the matters that you are looking into, and I also know that you believe yourself to be alone in your investigation. The truth is, you are not alone. Such events are not unique to your city of Arkham. What you have observed is happening in major cities all over the world. I am one of those, like you, who seeks the truth, who remembers. There is another related matter which I must bring to your attention. I need your help, and you need mine. Enclosed is a ticket to a show at Riverview Theatre. If you wish to know more, please meet me there and we can speak further. I'm alone. In truth, L. Flint. The ticket in the envelope was indeed for a private showing of Arkham's new movie palace in downtown. With no other leads and no good reason to avoid going, you decide to accept the mysterious invitation. If there is only one investigator in the game, proceed to intro 2. Well, there's only William. He's the only one there. So we're going to read intro 2. Intro 2. Just as you are beginning to suspect that you've been played, you see a shadow approaching from the aisle. The figure spots you at once, sliding into the seats in front of you. He wears wide-horned rimmed glasses and a high-collared jacket over a silk vest. His brown hair is cut short and parted to one side, and he sports a handsome, neatly trimmed beard. Brad, very good. To your relief, no other figures emerge from the shadows. You ask if you're speaking to Lee Flint. Lee Flint? Let's go with Lee Flint. Earning a slight nod from the man in front of you. He does not turn to speak, instead letting his voice carry softly over the silent images on screen. Indeed, he says, Inspector Lee Flint with the International Criminal Police Commission. Well, I'm sure you have a great many questions, but we are unfortunately short on time, doubly so if you're working alone. Prudent, however, you should not trust no one. You should trust no one. Given the circumstances, not even me. Intro 5. Intro 5. Flint produces a file fat with documentation and slides it between the 2 seat cushions in front of you. Inside it is a wealth of information regarding cases similar to the ones you've been investigating. Photos of vehicles, factory machines, and public figures, all missing, all forgotten. And just as Flint's letter promised, the file reports from all over the world. London, Shanghai, Bruges, Rio de Janeiro, Cairo. The list goes on. There's more, he says, after giving you time to read it to the end. You do. On what greets you there are 2 photographs clipped together. The first is a street in London, distorted by some sort of interference. A light shines above the street corner, and around it the picture appears to be pinched, like a miniature vortex is pulling reality toward it. The other is a photograph of a man on the other side of the same street corner, ducking into the shadows. He's wearing a tailored grey suit and a wide-brimmed hat that obscures his face. The only discernible detail you make out from the photo is the man's distinctive red gloves. Rare as it is for a photograph to have colour, you wonder if the long exposure time is what led to the strange blurring effect. This was taken by my partner several days ago, just before he too vanished. Whatever is going on, you can be sure that the man with the red gloves is somehow involved. Getting to the point, you ask Inspector Flint what exactly he wants from you. Work together, share what we know. Sparingly, few seem to know the truth. Agree. If what the man says is true, and events like this are happening all over the world, getting to the bottom of it will require that more than just you. To that end, I would ask that you come to London with me. That man with the red gloves has been sighted in the area, and he's not alone. I would bet good money that he knows something about where my partner is. Arrangements have been made. There are steamship tickets in the file. The ship departs from Boston in 2 days. Now the investigators must decide. Take him up on his offer, proceed to intro 6, or go to London on your own terms, intro 7. Well, Lee Flint seems like a fairly straight up character, so we're gonna proceed and we're gonna take him up his offer. So we're gonna go to intro 6. You accept the file and tell Inspector Flint that you will report to him with anything you find. With haste, you get your affairs in order and take the very next train to Boston. Flint has already given you more evidence to advance your case than a month of investigations in Arkham. If working together with the ICPC will help solve this mystery, you have no qualms about putting your trust in him. You make it to London with time to spare and immediately set to work. Trust is born of naivety. Remove one Elder Sign token from the Chaos bag and add one tablet token. Okay, pause here. Okay, there's the token. We're taking the Elder Sign token out, put the tablet token in. There we go. Read the rules for tracking time on the next column. Mark one time in your campaign log now, then proceed to set up. So we'll add one time on here because we've got a little counter. So we're taking one time. But we'll also record it in our log. Time 1. I'll read the bit where it says about tracking time. Throughout this campaign, tracking the passage of time is of crucial importance. As time marches on, these paranormal events will grow more and more dangerous, and machinations beyond your understanding will progress. Additionally, some opportunities may be only open to you during certain windows of time. When you are instructed to mark one or more time off in your campaign log, fill that many boxes under the time passed header. If you fill a box that has a symbol in the form of a Greek letter, proceed to the status report section of the campaign guide to find the status report matching that letter. That's fine. We can do that. I'll make sure we keep a note of that. Right. Quick swig of coffee. Setup. It says gather all cards from the following encounter sets: Riddles and Rain, Crimson Conspiracy, Dark Veiling, Outsiders, Shadow of the Doubt, Strange Happenings, Chilling Cold, Locked Doors, and the Midnight Masks. I've done that. That's what all of these are. It says set when gathering Midnight Masks, only gather the 5 treachery cards, which is what I've done here, which is Haunting Shadow, 2 Haunting Shadows, 3 Haunting Shadows, and 2 false leads. That. Set the Crimson Conspiracy and Outsider sets aside outside out of play. That's these ones here. So these will go outside of play for the time being. Put the Rainy Streets of London into play. Do that there for a second. Each investigator begins at the Rainy Street, London streets. Set each other location aside. Set the Red Glove Man and the Eye of Raven's Key aside out of play. We will do that. Gather each decoy mini card and each of the following mini cards. So mini cards are what's going to conceal. They're going to be concealed, and I've got the mini cards here: Red Glove Man and Coterie Agent A, B, and C. So they're set aside. Shuffle the remaining encounter cards to build the encounter deck, and you are now ready to begin. Right, here we go. So these are all these. Rainy Streets of London. William is going to begin there. Let's give these a good shuffle. And if I shuffle without spilling any, that's a good thing. I'm going to give them a really good shuffle. Cat weasel cut. There we go. There's our encounter deck. We're going to give these a good shuffle. They have been shuffled off screen, but we need to make sure we're doing things a-okay. Again, we'll do this. Looking forward to playing this. Had it for about a year and hasn't got to the table. Just ordered Feast of Hemlock Vale, so that will be coming to the channel at some point in the future. Do a cat weasel cut. And there we go. That's our investigation. That's our deck. We'll come to that in a second. So we've got an agenda. When it rains, agenda 1A. Arriving in London, you patiently await your contact, but none arrives. Inspector Flint, or one of his proxies, was supposed to meet you at a quiet tea house tucked away in a narrow storefront just outside of Trafalgar Square. Wondering what could have gone wrong and suspecting the worst, you set off to investigate. Forced, when this agenda advances, move all doom on it to the next agenda. It's got 2. Wow. Okay, and then we've got Act 1A, clues and capers. You draw your umbrella closer, using it to obscure your identity. Each person you pass on the street could be your contact or be out to get you. Objective. As a group, spend the requisite number of clues to advance before the agenda advances. 2 clues per player, so we need 2 clues. We are playing on standard, which is the skull is -1, -3 if you've got 2 or more clues. The tablet is -1. If there's a concealed mini card at your location, reveal another chaos token. And the heart is -3. If you fail, you must either spend 1 clue or place 1 doom on an enemy in the shadows. Okay, right. Oh, I need my resources. 5 resources. 3, 5. Okay. All the best, William. Let's flick it over. So it says rainy London streets. Cold rain pelts the dreary streets in a rhythmic pitter-patter. Despite the hour, the square is bustling with automobiles, carriages and pedestrians. Somewhere in this crowded city is the man you seek. Or are you already too late? Flip it over. So 1 shroud, 2 clues per investigator. Rainy London streets gets X shroud, where X is the current current act number. We're on act 1. 2 shroud. Forced, if there are no clues on rainy London streets, add clues until it has 1 clue per investigator. And we've got our action to resign. We should wait for Inspector Flint. Comes in with 2 clues. Going to draw our hand of 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have got Cherished Keepsake, definite keeper. We've got a Resourceful, don't really need that at the moment. We've got our Machete. We've got a Lucky. And we have got a Scene of the Crime. Wow. I will take that. I'm going to be in the Resourceful to redraw. And we've got a Jury Rig. That is very good. So that goes back into our deck. Give it a shuffle. Cat weasel cut. Wow, that is pretty darn good. That is pretty darn good. I will take that every day of the week. Okay, Right, here we go then. William's first action. First action is to pay 2. Play scene of the crime. Play only as your first action. Discover 1 clue at your location. 2 clues instead if there is an enemy at your location. No enemy at our location, but we are automatically going to get a clue. Second action, play 3. Play a machete. Comes in as normal. Fight, you get +1 attack for the fight. +1, strength. And if the attacked enemy is the only engaged enemy, you deal +1 damage. That. Then for 0, for our third action, we're going to play Jury Rig. Comes in with 3 durability on it. 1, 2, 3. Attached to an item asset you control by an investigator at your location. I'm going to attach it to the machete. And as a fast action, doing a skill test on the attached asset, spend 1 durability to get +2 skill value for this test. So that's attached to the machete. Oh, should have said. Should have said that's the investigation phase. We've used all of our actions. We can't do anything more, so we're going to move on to the enemy phase. There are no enemies in play, so we don't need to worry about. So then we go straight through to the upkeep phase. I'm going to reset our actions. Get our 3 actions back. We're going to ready any exhausted cards where we haven't used any cards. We're going to draw a card and gain a resource. Got 1 resource. I'm going to draw a card. Is Bandolier. That's quite handy. You have 1 additional hand slot which can be used to hold a weapon asset. Very good. Check our hand size. We're at 3. We're all good. So we're now going to move across to the Mythos phase. We place 1 Doom. We're now up to 1 Doom. We advance the agenda if the threshold is satisfied. It's all right. And then we go across to drawing our encounter card. Now, our encounter card is Figures in the Dark, Peril. If there are no enemies in the shadows, Figures in the Dark gains Surge. Otherwise, you must decide. So there are no enemies in the shadows. So we will draw another card for a Surge. Locked Door. Love it. Locked door attached to the location with the most clues, but it's only rainy streets of London. The attacked location cannot be investigated. Test strength 4 to break down the door or agility 4 to pick the locks. If you succeed, discard locked door. So the rainy streets of London have all of a sudden become locked. Then we go on from the Mythos phase to the investigation phase. First action, I'm going to pay 0, play a cherished keepsake. Comes in with 2 sanity on it, which helps Yorick out with his sanity. Four versus 4. Not gonna. Okay. 4 versus 4. I'm thinking about breaking the locked door down because I'm going to need to get that clue. I need to break the door. So I'm going to use some tokens to tell me that something's been exhausted or not. Bear with. Use these colours. So I'm going to exhaust machete. There. Cool. I'm going to exhaust machete. Do a fight action. Oh no, is it a fight? No, it's just a straight test. Just a straight test. 4 versus 4. So second action, I'll do the test. 4 versus 4. 0. Hey, 0. So we equal it. So that means it is passed. So locked door goes. Didn't need to use my lucky. 2 versus 2. Can't really do anything about that at the minute. Hopefully we'll draw into some cards that will help. So for my third and final action, I'm going to gain a resource, I think. Gained a resource. Take me to 2. Good to say I've got 1 clue there as well. Okay, that's the end of the investigation phase. We move on to the done that. Randomly, then my light decided to go to a slightly warm tint rather than the tint I usually have it on. So that's the end. We moved on to the enemy phase. There are no enemies in play, so we don't need to worry about that. We go on to the upkeep phase. We reset our actions. We ready any exhausted cards. We draw a card. We're going to get a look what I found. We're going to get a resource. So we're now at 3 resources. And we'll check our hand size. We're good at 3. That's the end of the upkeep phase. We move across to the mythos phase. We put a doom on when it rains. Takes it to 2. We then have triggered this. We are at 2 doom. So we're going to flip it over. And it says, just out of reach. Eventually, you notice the tail. The figure stalks you through the rainy streets, pretending to have some other pressing task at hand. For once, you believe your paranoia may have paid off. There is only one way to know for sure, so you test your theory, walking faster, moving aimlessly through the streets, and doubling back to see what they do. Every time they are there, watching you, it's a tail, all right. You flip the script and begin to give chase. Instead. If they work for the man with the red gloves, you are going to find out. Each investigator takes 1 horror. Delightful. So we're down to 5. Actually, scrap that. Oops, we're down to 6, sorry. We'll stay at 6. We'll put 1 onto cherished keepsake. Put aside the set aside Kensington Gardens, Westminster Abbey, and Big Ben locations in play. Bear with me. Okay, we've put the locations into play: Big Ben, Westminster Abbey, and Kensington Gardens. Rainy Streets of London is connected to Kensington Gardens, but that's it. Big Ben and Westminster Abbey are connected, as are to the Rainy Streets of London. So there we go. It then says the lead investigator draws a set aside red glove man enemy and resolves his concealed keyword. He's got concealed 1 per investigator. So he goes up into the shadows, up here. Then we take these 2 cards, the red glove man and the decoy. We do a try and do shuffle 2 cards, as in where we can do these. And then it says, take his mini card and 1 decoy, shuffle them face down and put them into play, divided evenly as possible on the amongst the locations nearest the lead investigator. So we're going to put 1 there. And then we will put 1 at Big Ben. Nice and thematic Big Ben. Each investigator loses each of their clues. Well, that's a bit rubbish. So we lose our clues down to 0. And advance the act directly to Act 2A. We're going to read Agenda 2A first of all. Your mind must be playing tricks on you. Misshapen figures dance through the dense London fog whenever the rain lets up. Are there distortions like the one in the photograph Inspector Flint showed you? Or is it your quarry hiding in the mists and gloom? Forced, when the agenda advances, move all doom onto the next agenda. We then moved to 2A. The game is afoot. You chase a shadow shrouded by night. It might as well be a needle in a haystack. But you still you search, hoping for any clue that may lead you to the truth. Objective: trace down the mysterious figure before the agenda advances. If an investigator engages the red glove man, advance. So this stays with 2 doom on it. Concealed card. So what you need to do with these, it says on the card, you may expose this card instead of dealing damage to it, evading it, or discovering a clue at this location. And it's the number you're looking at is always the shroud number that is that of the location they're at. So, for example, here, this concealed card has got a shroud of 2 because it's in the rainy London streets, and that's where its shroud is. And it's now shroud 3 actually, because it gets plus X shroud when it's the current act number. So this is now a 3 shroud, and this is whatever it is. Okay, then we are still in the mythos phase. We've done all of that. We now need to draw our encounter card, which is Pinch in Reality, Peril. You must either choose 1, spend 1 clue, or choose to discard half of the non-weakness cards in your hand, rounding up. Oh, God. Lost my clues. I've got 3 cards in hand, so rounding up would be 2. I'm going to pick the one I'm going to keep. I'll choose and discard half your. I'm going to keep, look what I found. And I'm going to discard Lucky and Bandolier. Oh. Okay. We then move across to the investigation phase. Time for a coffee after all of that. Right. Okay. First action. We are going to fight the concealed card. It's got 3, so we're going against 3. I will exhaust my machete. Get +1 for this attack. And I think I'm going to use a jury rig to give me +2. So I'm fight 4 normally. 5 for the machete, 6, 7 for the jury rig. So 7 versus 3. I'm not chucking any cards at it. 7 versus 3. 7 versus 3, and we're going to get skull, which is -1, -3 if you've got 2 or more clues. So we win that, which means we have a look at this card, and it is the Red Glove Man. Right, a few things happen here. Bear with me. So he is exposed, so he would come into here. So he immediately engages me because I'm there, and he's not aloof or anything like that. So he comes in. This concealed card, which we know as a decoy, goes away because that was the only one that was relevant to the Red Glove Man. I'll just do his little mini card. Oh, like that. Act 2A says, chase the mysterious figure down. If the investigator engages the Red Glove Man, advance, which we have. So we flip this over to the chase is on. After much toil and pursuit, you finally catch up to the figure you've been chasing. A feeling of vindication washes over you as you spot the red gloves the man wears. It was no phantom you chased. This is the one you saw all along. You corner him in a narrow alleyway, sheets of rain and fog masking your approach. Several more figures flank the man. A meeting, perhaps? To your surprise, he casts an expressionless glance in your direction. Then, fast as a flash of lightning and gone just as swiftly, a formless shape ducks out of view. A chunk of nearby building goes along with it. When you turn to question your quarry about what happened, they have all fled east. You inch forward and examine the partially excised wall, covered in an ectoplasmic substance, like the negative of an undeveloped photo. Set the Red Glove Man aside out of play. You're a cheeky little minx, ain't you? You are a cheeky little minx. Put the set aside Tower Bridge and Tower of London locations into play. Shuffle the set aside Crimson Conspiracy and Outsiders encounters into the encounter deck along with the encounter discard pile. Advance the agenda directly to agenda 3A. So let's do that first of all. Let's grab those. Those are those 2 sets. We'll grab those into there. We'll put those into here. And then we'll give these a damn good shuffle. Oh, there we go. That's more like MB. Cards going flying everywhere. We'll do a little bit of a proper shuffle. That weasel cut. That goes back up there. So this is done. So we go on to Act 3A. Your gaze turns eastward in the direction you last saw the man heading. Over the Tower Bridge lies the famed Tower of London, where even more eyes watch your approach, those belonging to a conspiracy of dark and brooding ravens. For what reason could it be heading there? Objective: only investigators at the Tower of London may spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance, which is 3 clues per person. Agenda 2, we go to agenda 3A as well. So that's that. Then we go to agenda 3A. The connection. It is clear now that Inspector Flint's hunches were correct. The man in the red gloves is not operating alone, and whatever he is up to is something to do with the recent vanishings. You could wait to report what you've seen, but the man and his cohorts may already be put in motion whatever scheme they are planning. No, you only have one choice. You must find the man with the red gloves at all costs. And it says on the 2A, when the agenda advances, move all doom on it to the next agenda. So we are still at what we've done two doom. I don't think that says anything about removing the doom. Yep. So we're then going to get out the 2 locations. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Okay, we've put the Tower Bridge in play. That is connected to the rainy London streets, and the Tower of London is connected to Tower Bridge, nowhere else. There are a couple other locations there, one other location, but at the moment, that's where it is. So what have we got to do? So only investigators at the Tower of London may spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance, and we've got to get 3 clues. We've got to get 3 clues. That was our first action. Second action, we are going to investigate rainy streets of London, I think. So we're going to do a straight investigate. We are 2 versus 4 plus 3 shrouds, so 4. 2 versus 4. Two versus 4. Risk it for a biscuit. 2 versus 4. The -1. So it's no. 4 versus 1. Needed to fail to live by 2 or less. Gonna move down to Kensington Gardens. My last action. Kensington Gardens over. It is 2 shroud, 1 clue per investigator. After you expose a decoy at Kensington Gardens, heal 1 horror. After you expose an enemy at Kensington Gardens, take 1 horror. Oh, ouch. Victory 1. 2 shrouds. That's a bit better. That's a bit more doable. A lot happened in that turn. Okay, investigation phase. We've got enemy phase. There are no enemies in play. We're all good. We move across to the upkeep phase. We're going to reset our actions. We're going to ready any exhausted cards. So Machete comes back online. We're going to draw a card. We are going to get Cherished Keepsake, which is no good to anybody. We're going to gain a resource. So we're up to 4 resources. We actually haven't got any clues now. Oops. -1. 1, 0. Like a hand size of 2. We're good. We're then going to go across to the Mythos phase. We're going to put a Doom on that. So 3 of 9. We're going to have to hurry up. We draw an encounter card. We're going to get Crypt Chill. Test Will 4. If you fail, discard one asset you control. If you cannot take 2 damage, oh my god, I do not want to discard. Oh, that is nasty. Okay, so I'm at 3. I'm gonna put in the Cherished Keepsake, which takes me to 4. So it is a straight 4 versus 4. God. 4 versus 4. -1. 4 versus 3. I fail. I fail. First of all, fast. No, I'm not investigating, so don't worry about that. Oh, that's so annoying. Crit Chill is gonna. The only asset I control. No asset. I know. Cherished Keepsake as an asset. That's going. I'm not losing my machete. Okay. That's it for the Mythos phase. We go to the investigation. We need to get some clues. So first action is to investigate at the Kensington Gardens. None of my investigation stuff's out. 2 versus 2. 2 versus 2. 2 versus 2. Oops. -2. So I'm down to 0. I've 2 or less. Pay after you fail. Pay 2. Sorry. Pay 2 resources. Down to 2 resources to play. Look what I found. Fast. Play after you fail by a skill test by 2 or less while investigating. I was investigating. It was 2 versus 2 -2. So I'm 0. So it's 2 or less. Discover 2 clues at your location. So I get that one. And I also get one from the pool, I take it. That's why I play it. We also get victory point from recording down the bottom there because Kensington Gardens got a victory on it after we clear it. We'll put the 1-2 back in there. Two actions left. So let's go 1, 2 to Tower Bridge. Get on our way. Hopefully not a high shroud. Okay. Test. So it's a 2 shroud, 1 clue per investigator. Let's put our clues on. Not forget about our clues. 2 clues. 2 shroud, 1 clue per investigator. As an action there, test will or intellect 5. If you succeed, put aside the set aside Traitor's Gate location into play. Here, to get into the Tower of London, it says the main gate into the tower is locked and securely guarded. As an additional cost to enter the Tower of London, investigators at the Tower Bridge may spend 2 clues as a group. God, I need 2 to get in there and 3 off here. Okay. That's it for my turn. Go to the enemy phase. There are no enemies in play. So we go to the upkeep phase. We get our actions back. We ready any cards. Gain a resource. So we're up to 3 resources. And we get a card, which is Schnoffler's Catalogue. 5 secrets. And we can do that to pay for an item asset. So that's good. That's good. I would have preferred some sort of level of investigation. Item asset. Item asset. Bandolier. Okay. We move out of the upkeep phase. We go to the mythos phase. We put Doom on the agenda. We're now at 4. Keeping a track of this. 1, 2, 3, 4. We draw an encounter card. We're all right for the agenda. We're going to get a obscuring fog attached to your location. Limit 1 per location. Attached location gets +2 shroud. After attached location is successfully investigated, discard obscuring fog. That's going to come in at Tower Bridge. I was worried about William and his investigation, but just not pulling the cards. Not pulling the cards. Okay. That was a fair... There's been worse Mythos phases. One, 2 to there to Big Ben. We need a load of cards. So I'm going to go 1 to there, 2 to there. 2 actions. Flip Big Ben. Oh my god. 4 shroud, 1 clue per investigator. Choose a concealed mini card at Big Ben or a connected location and test agility 2. If you succeed, look at the revealed side of that card. Look at the revealed side of that concealed mini card without exposing it. If you fail, take 1 horror. It's got a victory point on it as well. 4 shroud though for Will. For Billy. 4 shroud for Billy is not good. Third action. I'm going to draw a card. Come on. Runic Axe. Runic Axe. Don't necessarily need that at the moment. Don't necessarily need that at the moment. Okay. That's it for the investigator phase. We go to the enemy phase. No enemies in play. We move to the upkeep phase. We get our 3 actions back. Get a resource. 4 resources. We draw a card. Come on, investigation. Resourceful. If this skill test is successful, choose the survivor card not named resourcefully in your discard pile. Add the chosen card to your hand. Oh, yeah, look what I found is good. Or a lucky. Or a lucky. That could be useful. 4 shroud though, man. Okay. Take a hand size of 3, we're all good. We go to the mythos phase. We put a doom on the doom. The agenda, should I say? 5. God. 4 turns. Okay, draw a card. Substance dissimulation. Revelation. Each set aside hollow you own. If there are more than 1 or more copies of that hollow in your play area, and or For each set aside hollow you own, if there are one or more copies of that hollow in your play area and or hand, discard those copies and take 1 damage. If no cards are discarded by this effect, choose a non-weakness card you control in your hand or play area and set it aside out of play as a hollow. Okay, we're going to have to choose jury rig. Put that as a hollow over here. Okay, that's that. Go across to the investigation phase. First action, I'm going to move down Westminster Abbey. Flip it. 1 shroud, 1 clue. Choose a location and test head will 5 to ask around the abbey. For each point you succeed by, look at the revealed side of a concealed mini card at a chosen location. Okay, right, now we're talking. Second action, we're going to have a go at investigation. We're going to chuck in a Schaffner's catalogue to give us 3 versus 1. 3 versus 1. We're going to put a resourceful in as well to make it 4 versus 1. 4 versus 1. -2. We're successful. We get the clue. So we're now up to 3 clues. Resourceful. If this skill test is successful, choose a survivor card not named resourceful in your discard pile. Add that chosen card to your hand. I think I'm going to choose, look at what I found. Survivor card. Put it to my hand. And they're both going to be 4. That's 2. Going to move to the rainy streets. Out. Yeah, move to the rainy streets of London for my last action. Okay. Enemy phase. There are no enemies in play. We move across to the upkeep phase. We're going to get, going to ready any cards. We're going to get our actions back. Got a resource there. We draw a card. Another runic axe. Dual wielding runic axes, if only, it's 2-handed. And that's it for the upkeep phase. We've got 3 cards in hand. We're all good. Going to go across to the mythos phase. We're going to add a doom. So we're now at 6 of 9. 6 of 9. We're going to draw a card. Paracausal entity. Hunter. Forced. When paracausal entity engages with you, look at the top card of your deck. If it is not a weakness, set it aside outside of play as a hollow. The 3 fight, 2 health, and 3 evade. So that comes into play engaged with us down here, so I remember. Yeah, that's it. Right. Okay. So look at the top card of your deck. Not a weakness. It was a live and learn, which would have helped us. So we've got 2 hollows now. That's it for the mythos phase. We go to the investigation phase. Well, first things first, we're going to smack it. We're going to smack it with a machete. We're going to chuck a runic axe in. So we are at 4, 5, 6. 6 versus 3. That should be away. 6 versus 3. 6 versus 3. +1. +1. So it does +1 damage. That's 2. That kills it. That was our first action. I am going to trigger William's ability. After you defeat an enemy, play an asset from your discard pile. Limit once per round. Asset we're going to play. We are going to play 2. Play Bandolier. Got an additional hand slot when it comes to weapons. That was our first action. Second action is going to move down to tower. Bloody obscuring fog. That is going to be 4 as well. They're all 4. They're all 4. Oh, I've got to go for it. I'm going to move to Tower Bridge. Then I'm going to investigate. 2 versus 4 is no good. Third action is not going to be to investigate. Third action is going to be to draw a card. Be the card. Resourceful. Okay. That's it for the investigation phase. You move on to the enemy phase. They're a bit glary, aren't they? Move those down there. No enemies in play. We move across to the upkeep phase. We get our resources back. Actions. We gain a resource. We get a card. Come on. Lucky. We're lucky. That could be quite handy. Look what I found. Okay, we could be doing it now. We could be doing it. Drawn a card. We've got our resources. Got our actions back. Hand size is fine at 4. We then go across to the upkeep phase. We're going to put a doom on. We're now at 7 of 9. God, I don't think we've got enough time left. 7 of 9. We draw our card, which is Substance Dissimulation. For each set aside hollow you own, if there are one or more copies of that hollow in your play area and or hand, discard those copies and take 1 damage or 1 horror. So for each set aside horror card, each set aside hollow you own, if there are one or more copies of that hollow in your play area and or hand, there isn't. Not no live and learn or jury rig or anything like that. Take 1 damage and 1 horror. If no cards are discarded by this effect, discard those copies and take 1. If no cards were discarded, choose a non-weakness card you control in your hand or play area and set it aside as a hollow. I'll set resourceful aside another hollow. That's that done. We move on to the investigation phase. Right. First action. I am going to attempt to do a investigation at Tower Bridge. I'm at 2. It's at 4 because of appearing fog. So 4 versus 2. -1, -3 instead if you have 3 or more copies. So I'm now at 1 versus 4. I am going to play a lucky, which gives me fast play when you would fail a skill test. Get +2 to the skill set value for your for the rest of that test. So I go down from 2 to 1. I go back up to 3 because of lucky. I'm still failing it. I'm going to play look what I found. Fast play when you would fail a skill test by 2 or less, which I am because I'm at 3 versus 4. Discover 2 clues at your location. I'll take those 2 clues. I think that's how I'm doing. I think that's how you can do it. I am going to do it. That's what I'm doing. Excellent. I've got 5 clues now. Hopefully I played that right. Because I'm still failing it playing lucky. I get +2 skill value. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. So, second, I am going to move across to the Tower of London. I'm paying the 2 clues to get in there. Takes me down to 3. Well, I'll open this up. After you end your turn at the Tower of London, you must either lose 2 resources or each enemy in the shadow attacks you. Well, that's fine. That comes in with 1 clue on it, a Shroud of 3. I am also spending 3 resources or 3 clues down to none to advance the act. It says, quietly and cautiously you follow the figure from a distance. With measured haste, he darts to and fro inside the ominous tower, searching for something. Finally, you watch from the shadows. The man with the red gloves finds what he's looking for: a loose brick along one of the candlelit hall's many columns. He casually rotates the stone brick into place with a kind of nonchalance, as if he were dealing with a piece of misplaced laundry. Feel surprised, a section of the nearby wall rotates in turn, revealing a secret passageway. He ascends into darkness and you follow in secret. Put aside the set-aside Tower prison location in play. Tower prison. And that's connected. Go back in there. That's connected just to the Tower of London. Attach the set aside Eye of Raven's keys to the tower prison. That's the Eye of Raven tower. That's that there. Not controlled by anybody. Move all concealed mini cards in play to the tower prison. There are none. And put the set aside red glove man enemy and resolve his concealed keyword, putting all those concealed mini cards into play at the tower prison. So he comes in effectively in the shadows. Get a decoy. Get that. We're just gonna try and around. Who knows? The top one, or do that. Oops, that. Okay, that's that. Caught red-handed. Somewhere in these forgotten crypts, the man with the red gloves is searching for something. The man, for what purpose? The red glove man gains parlay, will or intellect 5 to interrogate the red man. If you succeed, place 1 resource on him. Objective: stop the red glove man from stealing the Eye of Ravens. If he is defeated, or if there are more 1 resource on him, advance. So he is in there concealed. Only got 2 turns left. I need to second action. I'm going to replace machete with the runic axe. 4. Comes in with 4 charges on it. Third action, I'm going to move down to the tower prison. Oh, thumbs! That was shouldn't have been that way around, but it was. So it comes in. The tower prison comes in with 2 clues on it. Crowd of 4. As a fast action, while an investigator at Tower Prison is performing a skill test, spend 1 clue. That investigator gets +2 skill value for the rest of this test. When a concealed mini card would be entered to play anywhere other than the Tower Prison, put it into play in the Tower Prison instead. Victory points of 1 on it. I don't think we're going to be too concerned about that. Oh, actually, I didn't need to get rid of machete because I've got bandolier. So 3 hand slots. I've got 1 additional one, so that's fine. That's it. That's the end of the turn. We go to the enemy phase. There are technically no enemies in play. These don't do anything whilst they're in the shadows. Nothing else is in play. We're going to go to the upkeep phase. We're going to ready our resources. We're going to gain a resource. Ready our action, sorry. Gain a resource. Draw a card. Got bandolier. And we check our hand size is absolutely fine. And we go from there. We go to the mythos phase. We had a doom on. We're now at 8 of 9. Oh god. We've got 1 turn. Got 1 turn to do it. Okay, we're going to draw a card. Locked door, that's fine. Power prison gets a locked door. Not fussed about that. That's actually quite good. Not overly fussed about that in any way, shape, or form because we're not investigating. We're going to be trying to hit. And then we go across to the investigator phase. First action. Locked door doesn't add anything to the shroud. First action is to hit with the runic axe. I'm going to spend a resource or one of his charges to get +2 attack for this attack. An additional +2 attack. So I'm at 4, 5, 6, 7 against 4. 7 against 4. 7 against 4. -3. We pass. 7 against 4. We're going to reveal this concealed card. Decoy. The decoy. Second action. We're going to do the same thing with the runic axe. Doesn't just have to reuse it. You don't exhaust it to hit. So second action with the runic axe. 7 versus 4. 8 versus 4. Just to make sure. Tablet -1. If there is a concealed familiar location. Okay. There is a concealed. Oh god, 7 versus 4. Skull -1. So that's -2 in total because I haven't got any clues. We pass. We reveal this concealed card, which is the red gloved man. He then comes into play attached to us. Third action. I am going to hit him again with the runic axe. I'm going to spend the remaining 2 charges on it. So I'm at +2 and it deals +1 damage. So I am at 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 versus 5. Oh, I don't like those odds. 7 versus 5. I've got nothing I can do with it. 7 versus 5. 7 versus 5. 0. Yes. We do +2, +1 damage. So do 2 damage. We kill the red glove man. Objective, stop the red glove man. If he's defeated, advance. Blimey. If you defeated the red glove man, the figure reels backward, grasping at his wound. Something small clatters to the ground. The man says nothing, only glares at you from the darkness. His gloves seem to ripple around his hands like the disturbed surface of a deep crimson pool. And after a moment, he straightens himself. Then, blending into the shadow, he tips his hat and is gone. Add the red gloved man to the victory display and read resolution 1. Here's a victory point of 1. Get 2 victory points going into that. Right, let's have a little quick read. Okay, resolution 1. You search for the man with the red gloves through every possible hiding place and down every shadowed corridor, but he is well and truly gone. It's as if he has vanished into thin air. You wonder for a moment if he has somehow erased from existence like the other disappearances, but you don't believe so. There is no mark, no ectoplasmic remains. He was simply there, and then he wasn't. You give up searching for him and examine the object that clattered to the ground during your scuffle. It's a small ruby marble, no larger than an eye. Indeed, you investigate the crypt that the man was rummaging through and find that the marble size matches the eye sockets of the long deceased corpse inside. They must have been buried with it, meaning perhaps that this marble is what the man with the red gloves saw all along. But why? Investigating further, you find neither name nor epitaph identifying the corpse buried there. Only the following lines of what appears to be poetry chiseled into the lid of the body's coffin. With red we are bound, through red we are one. Thus in red do we bury our kin and ken. May you rest until you are needed once more. Before you have time to consider what this might mean, you hear the telltale rumbling of the secret passageway shifting upstairs once more, and the pounding of heavy footsteps down the stairwell. You arm yourself and prepare for a fight. To your surprise, it's Inspector Flint who greets you, held at gunpoint by a woman dressed in a black suit, wide-brim hat, and matching black trousers. She has ebony dark skin, cold eyes underscored by heavy bags, and short curly hair. Two other suits flank her, both of whom say nothing, and stand like statues as she enters the crypt. She flashes an unidentifiable silver badge and motions towards for you to stay put. Where did the man with the red gloves go? She asks. And who are you? Can I put my hands down now? Inspector Flint says. Each investigator earns experience equal to the Victory X value of each card in the victory display, which is 2. We've got 2 XP for Riddles and Rain. Riddles and Rain. 2 XP. Choose an investigator to be the bearer of the Eye of Ravens. Well, obviously that's going to be William. Eye of Ravens he's got. Update the campaign log and accordingly. From now on, whenever a character becomes a bearer of a key, keep the key handy for the rest of the campaign, as it will begin in play with the attached character. In your campaign log, record you haven't seen the last of Red Glove Man. Haven't last. Glove. Mark 1 time in your campaign log. So we're now at 2 times. Proceed to interlude Foundation, page 9. Wowzers. There's a lot of reading here. Here we go. The Foundation. Talk, the woman commands. I'm a detective with the ICPC, Flint barks back. Flint, Lee Flint, and you're going to be in a lot of trouble when they hear about this. I assure you I will not. And you? She asks, glaring in your direction. You explain that you are independent investigators working with Flint. She takes a moment to read your gaze, presumably to tell if you are lying. She, like Flint, seems low on trust. Finally, after the long-baited moment, she holsters her firearm. Flint hands drop to his sides. You let out a breath you didn't know you were holding. We have been after the Red Glove Man for quite some time, and this is the first time we've gotten this close. He seems to have a knack for slipping away. She nods. The 2 suits flanking her, a tall, athletic, pale-skinned woman and a sharp, clean-shaven man, and motions towards the walls. They keep a hand on their holsters as they scour the perimeter of the room. And who is we exactly? Inspector Flint asks. You've been wondering the very same thing. Your interrogator has a British accent, but she doesn't seem to be part of any local outfit you've ever heard of. She waits for confirmation from her two subordinates before continuing. All clear, ma'am, the man states. She sighs and crosses her arms. All right. What I'm about to tell you, you cannot leave this room under any circumstances. Am I clear? Flint shrugs. Under penalty of what exactly? Summary execution, she states without hesitation. Your throat closes tight. Even your partner flinches for a moment. Well, then, I suppose we don't have much choice, do we? He glances at you. You nod. You might as well hear what she has to say. I'm Commissioner Taylor, and these agents are Hudson and Anatova. We are the Foundation, an international agency devoted to the discovery, research, and containment of objects with paradimensional capability. What kind of baloney? Flint practically laughs. But the woman who calls herself Taylor shows no sign of humour. After the Great War, many treaties and accords were signed. Paris, Versailles, but keeping the peace wasn't the only goal. There were oddities, you see. During the war, things just didn't add up. The Foundation's purpose is to find these things that don't add up and ensure that they cannot be used for such purposes again. Well, this is hell of a con your buttons have cooked up, Flint says, but the darker tone in his voice indicates he doesn't even believe himself, and you're inclined to agree. The fact that Commissioner Taylor even knows of the Red Glove Man at all is proof that she has inside knowledge. You decided that she's more likely she's telling the truth than lying and ask her what she intends to do. She paces in uncomfortable silence before finally letting us out of sight. Well, I certainly can't have your investigation running parallel to my own, and you might have information that could be pertinent to our work. So I say we work together. Work together or for you? Flint asks pointedly, his eyes narrowing. She allows herself a smile. You're a clever man, I'll give you that. She nods to Agent Hudson, who produces several badges and hands them to you. You'll be a cell of the Foundation, operating under your own authority, but with our authority, but with independence. All you need to do is to agree to report your findings to us. She locks eyes with Flint appraisingly. You'll be our point of contact. You ask Taylor what you get out of the arrangement besides the lifted threat on your lives. We'll hand over the intel we have on the organisation the Red Glove Man works for and provide traveller papers that can get you anywhere in the world, no questions asked, at no expense. Flint eyes the badge like one might an explosive, turning it over and over in his hands. 2 minutes ago you were pointing a gun at me and now you're offering me a job. Well, yes. You in? You pull Flint aside to speak with him in private. The discussion is short and hushed, full of conjecture and paranoid theories about this Foundation and their true motives. But in the end, you decide to accept her offer. If it will help you get to the bottom of whatever's going on, it's the only real choice. Very well, then Taylor explains. The Red Glove Man is just one operative of his organisation, or perhaps its leader, that we are unable to determine. They call themselves the Red Coterie, so named because the red garments they wear. They are artifacts scattered across the world which possess paradimensional capabilities, the very same kind of objects we seek to find and contain. We call them keys. You ask Commissioner Taylor what she means by the term paradimensional. Imagine a cake with many layers. Everything we see and feel exists on one layer. There are more layers above and below us. Something is paradimensional and exists on one layer, draws energy from another parallel layer. As a result, these keys operate outside the laws of our dimension, cause and effect. If left unchecked, they could be used to inflict terrible harm on the world. Our job, your new job, is to get them out of the hands of the coterie and then secure them in the Foundation custody. If these keys are as powerful as the Foundation believes, you agree that they should be kept in safe hands. But you cannot help but wonder what has this to do with the disappearances you've been investigating, if anything. Flint locks eyes with you and gives you the slightest shake of his head. He has no intention of telling them. The investigators must decide. Tell Taylor about the disappearances. Proceed to Foundation 2. Do not tell Taylor about the disappearance. I think William's a fairly straight up guy. He's going to tell. So we're going to tell her. You decide it's best to tell Commissioner Taylor why you are looking into the Red Glove Man to begin with. Flint lets out an audible sigh. She mulls it over for a few minutes, then shakes her head. That is something to look into, but your primary objective is to acquire the keys the coterie is searching for at all costs. Am I understood? Taylor further explains that she will forward any relevant information to Flint's office with some sensitive details omitted, of course. She will also provide the ICPC with the requisite papers regarding Flint's new position. Oh, Agent Flint, she says on her way out, addressing him now by his new title. Your cell may have the independence to act on their own accord. Don't forget that you report directly to me. I expect you to do so without reservation should you discover anything of import. He nods, only the slightest hints giving resistance giving him away. Remove one heart token and add a tablet token. And in your campaign log, record that you cell told the truth to Taylor. Cell. I don't think there are any other. Are there any other ones? No. There aren't any. We've got 2 tablets in there already. So I can't do that. Remove a token and add one. So I'm not going to do it. That'll stay there like that. Skip to Foundation 4. Okay. Foundation 4. The next morning, your cell meets at the tea room near Trafalgar Square, where you had originally intended to meet the previous night. Together, you go over the documentation provided to Flint by this foundation. It's all a bit difficult to believe, if I'm being honest, Flint says, but everything checks out. The travel papers, the job transfer, all of it. Not even my boss questioned it for a moment. I guess we're secret agents now, eh? You agree. Unbelievable as it might seem, it's no less strange than the matters you'd already been looking into. Right, well, I think the best thing to do is to split up. Shanghai is where I grew up. I have connections there where I could go and leverage. So I'll head there first. Where you want to investigate next is up to you. Meet up with me later and we can figure out where to go from there. As the Foundation now has several leads concerning the whereabouts of the Red Coterie. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it there because we'll go through these leads in the next video, I think. Because it lists all the places we can go to. So we will decide where we're going to go to next in the next video, episode 3. But I hope you've enjoyed this. I've really enjoyed it. A little bit worried about William and his investigation. I'm not worried about him hitting things. He's pretty good at that. But we managed to get there in the end with 1 turn left to go. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next one. Take care all. Bye-bye.